In this video, I will explain the difference between call by reference and call by value. In the last video, I briefly mentioned that arrays are called by reference. Let's see what that means in further detail. Let's declare a new array of type string, and let's store the three things that you have to do today. So the name of the list, this name of the array is to do, and its length is 3, and there are three things: play soccer, go to bed, and eat dinner. So let's, for the sake of efficiency, let's declare a new integer type variable and store the length of the array. Now let's try to print out this string. As I mentioned in the last video, we should use a for loop to print out each element. I goes until length, I increases by 1, and you're going to print out each element. So now let's see what this gives. Original string, play soccer, go to bed, and eat dinner. So well, what happened here? You accidentally switched the order of the last two events, unless you want to save dinner for tomorrow. So you want to implement a new method to switch the last two elements of this array. Now let's say you ask one of your not so bright friends to fix this problem. What he suggested is that you implement a new void method called wrong_switch. So we're going to implement a new private static void method called wrong_switch. That receives two elements of this array and switch their values internally. So we're going to receive two string values, string A and string B, and you're going to implement this method in order to try to fix this problem. So how would you carry out this advice? So in the main method, the implementation of the wrong_switch method is going to look like wrong_switch to do the second from last method. You're going to pass on the second from last element and the last element. The definition of this method would look like you're going to declare a new temporary variable, string temp, equals the second string, and you're going to set the second string equal to the first string. So you're going to, and then you're going to store temp in the first string. So what the wrong_switch does is internally switches the two given input. So now let's run this. Now so now that you ran wrong_switch, let's print out the new string. So instead of being original string, it's wrong_switch. Actually, it's original list, right? So now let's see what this gives. So the original list was play soccer, go to bed, and eat dinner. And wrong_switch list is again play soccer, go to bed, and eat dinner. Uh-oh, what happened? After implementing this wrong_switch method, the order of events is still not correct. It seems like your friend was not so clear about the concept of call by value. Here, what happened was the wrong_switch method. This wrong_switch method took in two strings, string A and string B, that were right. They were the last two elements. But aborted that change completely at the end of the process because these strings were called by value, not called by reference. The valued switched internally within this wrong_switch method, but this change did not influence the main method at all. So let's say you ask one of your brighter friends to fix this problem. she suggested that you implement a new void method called correct switch. So you're going to implement a new private static void method called correct switch that takes in the entire array instead of just the elements, and change the elements internally. At first, you would feel doubtful whether this would work because this method, although it now takes in the entire array, is still a void method and wouldn't return anything, right? However, your brighter friend says, trust me, it's the magic of call by reference. So in the main method, the implementation of this correct switch method is going to look like, after doing the wrong switch, let's add some lines just to make it easier to recognize. You're going to implement the correct switch method, and you're going to pass on the entire to-do list array. The definition of this method would look like this. So at first, you're going to define, as I said, for the sake of efficiency, a new int variable that will store the length of this array. Sorry, this is to-do length. Now you're going to you're going to change the last two elements internally. So you're going to use, this is array. String temporary variable equals, you're going to store the last element of the array in the temp string, and then you're going to say replace the last element with the second from last element, and then you're going to replace the second from last element with the temporary variable. So now let's run this again. After you're running correct switch method, you're going to print out the list. Now let's see what happens now. Okay, the original list was play soccer, go to bed, and eat dinner. The wrong switch was play soccer, go to bed, and eat dinner again. But now the correct switch list gives play soccer, eat dinner, and go to bed. Happy times. So what is the difference? As I said, array is called by reference. So when you pass on array as a parameter to correct switch method, it changes the values internally, but the actual array in the main method also changes as a result of this switch. This was the difference between call by reference and call by value.